transfer sector have quoted the Times Sport, and they've said relegation now looks very real prospect for Manchester City and Chelsea. They go on to say that given the sanction handed out to Everton, the threat of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation from the Premier League would look to be very real for both City and Chelsea should charges be proven in an independent regulatory commission. You can never really equate one case with another in these type of situations. Like, I get that as football fans, we're often really quick to jump on and go, well, Everton have got this points, what about this? But here's what I don't understand, right? We've seen the punishment dished out to Everton. 10 points as it stands. I'm sure it'll be appealed. But as it stands, 10 points for what has been described as a £20 million overspend. So in the 3 years around COVID, clubs were allowed to lose up to £105 million. Everton have apparently reported losses of, I think it was just shy of £125 million, meaning they're about 20 million quid over. Everton have cooperated along with this investigation all the way through and have been given that 10 points. So when I read this and I thought of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation for Manchester City or Chelsea, and I've got to be honest, I think they're again very different situations. But if Manchester City are found to have breached even half of those, a relegation isn't strong enough. I'm sorry, it isn't. Relegation just means they'll be up next year. That's not enough, because this has gone on for 6-7 years. They have increased the value of their brand exponentially through all the positive marketing from trophy lifts and all the smoke blown up their arse from pundits and media outlets all around the world about this great team, this plucky underdog story of Manchester City led by Pep Guardiola. If they're found guilty, cheats. They have willingly and knowingly lied to everybody and stuck two fingers up doing it. So relegation ain't good enough. Manchester City need to be fined into oblivion if they're found guilty, because that's what they deserve. And I don't care about the fans that have been around 40, 50 years, because they all made excuses. I've not come across a Manchester City fan who's put their hands up and gone, yeah, we're taking the piss. No, even Guardiola looked and said he believes his club. Looks and says that nothing's done wrong. And again, they paid a huge fine to UEFA. If they're found guilty of even a quarter of these charges, throw the goddamn book at them, because the integrity of English football, of culture, of what we have bought into, is at stake. It isn't a case of a slap on the wrist. It is, there has to be such a reaction, such a response to this, that nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever consider this again. They need to be made an example of to the fullest powers of the law and the rules of the Premier League, if they are guilty. Chelsea, I'm going to be honest, I don't know enough about the Chelsea situation. I've spent years looking at the Manchester City situation, reading up on it, reading reports, watching stuff. The Chelsea stuff, I don't really understand what's happening. I know there are irregularities that were found in the Roman Abramovich era, that when Todd Bowley and his new team of executives came in and bought Chelsea, that they immediately seen these discrepancies in the accounts and made the Premier League aware of that. So I don't know enough about the Chelsea situation to really say if there's been wrongdoings or not. I'll never understand how they can spend £1 billion in a year. That baffles me, but yeah. This very week, we're sitting here as football fans talking about morality, talking about rules and regulations, but football itself is potentially on its knees. We've seen, and I mentioned this earlier on, that sponsorship deal that FIFA have just agreed with the Saudi Arabian oil company, is Aramco, or what, I'm not sure, maybe that's their name. is rumoured to be $100 million a year and runs to the World Cup in 2034 that's going to be in Saudi Arabia. The fuck? Come on now. Seriously. Look at the nonsense with Qatar and how that World Cup got awarded. The very people that profess to look after, to maintain and to safeguard the integrity of football are selling their fucking souls for money. You will hear every argument back. You're racist, you're Islamophobic, you're xenophobic. No, we're worried, we're concerned because we see the shithousery. We see what is being done. And we want our sport back. So, what are we going to do? Because nobody seems to want to stand up for the match-going fan or the fans that pay into this sport, that actually are the stakeholders of the sport. When you see this grubbiness going on in the Premier League with Chelsea, City, and then you've got the Everton thing, and you've got the World Cup thing, and it's never ending. I'm worried. Genuinely scared for football at this point. Because when you see so many fans refusing to look past short-sightedness or what benefits them directly in a particular moment, it scares the shit out of me. Because it's not going to end well. It just is not going to end well. When you have a national wealth, when you have a crown prince or the entire country's finances at your disposal, how on earth can any football club match that and operate and sustain itself? It is impossible. It is not possible. All football in England is becoming is a dick measuring contest for investment funds, for sovereign states, and for people who want to adjust how the world sees their brand. And again, I'm choosing my words carefully.